Between the 27th of November 1923 and the 28th of September 1924, the battlecruiser HMS Hood, in company with the battlecruiser HMS Repulse, and the vessels of the First Light Cruiser Squadron participated in what became known as the Cruise of the Special Service Squadron. The cruise of the Special Service Squadron was an epic journey known to the public as the Empire Cruise, or World Cruise. To the men of the squadron, the adventure was known as the World Booze. It was a highly successful public relations victory for the British Empire. It served as a subtle reminder to friend and foe alike that Britannia still ruled the waves in the aftermath of the First World War. Over the course of the cruise, the squadron would log over 38,152 miles and visited numerous foreign countries around the globe. During the course of the cruise, over 1 million people would visit the ships of the squadron. This series looks at the cruise of the Special Service Squadron. For more information other than what is detailed in these videos, please check out my book, Empire Cruise, Special Service Squadron 1923 to 1924. The cruise of the Special Service Squadron was not only a promotion of the power of the Royal Navy, but a demonstration of its post-war logistical capabilities. 5 years after the First World War, there was a political feeling that if the British Empire was to continue and prosper, its dominions and colonies needed to work together in peace as well as in war. After the expense of the First World War, the Royal Navy had demobilised to peacetime levels, and in 1919 the Treasury introduced the 10-year rule. The 10-year rule was based on the fact that it was anticipated that Britain and the Empire would not fight a major war for at least 10 years. During this period, there were several conferences after the war to negotiate international policy and naval power. One of these was the Imperial Conference of 1924, and another was the Washington Naval Conference of 1921 to 22. The Imperial Conference aimed to unify international policy, but the key outcome was the non-renewal of the Anglo-Japanese alliance. Japan had given support to Great Britain during the First World War under the agreement, and both Australia and New Zealand wanted it to be renewed. The United States of America was concerned about Japanese political intentions, and Canada, being mindful of their American neighbours, did not back its renewal. The alliance ceased in 1923 and left the British without an independent ally in the Pacific. The later Washington Conference concluded with several signed agreements, including the Five-Power Naval Limitation Treaty. This impacted the Royal Navy most by limiting the number and size of capital ships that it could maintain. Article 19 of the treaty was to maintain the status quo regarding fortifications and naval bases. Following this, Leo Amery, the First Lord of the Admiralty, wrote a set of brief considerations in April 1923. These included following up any agreements for cooperation at the Imperial Conference, allowing local forces to have the opportunity of doing joint exercises and to give the Royal Navy more experience of long-distance cruises. The cruise of the Special Service Squadron was therefore born. To the average sailor within the Royal Navy, the cruise presented an opportunity to meet our kinsmen overseas, to carry them a message of peace and goodwill, and to revive in their hearts and in our souls the ties that bind them to us, and us to them. So wrote Scott O'Connor in his account of the Empire Cruise. Part ceremonial, the cruise was also a sporting, recreational and sightseeing spectacular. Outward bound, the route would take the ships of the squadron to places including Sierra Leone, Cape Town, East London, Durban, Mombasa, Zanzibar, Trincomalee, Port Swettenham, Singapore, Christmas Island, Fremantle, Adelaide, Melbourne, Brisbane, Christchurch, Dunedin, Bluff, Napier, Auckland, Honolulu, Victoria, Vancouver, San Francisco. The British Empire was, however, changing. Even before the ships had departed on the cruise, the 1923 Imperial Conference had met in London. Principally concerned with the rights of the Dominions in determining their own foreign policy and preferential trade agreements, the Imperial Conference saw a move towards a voluntary British Commonwealth, but lacked equal recognition for individuals. When the cruise began, it got off to an unauspicious start, with the weather being dismal and the cruises being slightly delayed in port owing to fog.
Many thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more updates, like and share. You can also help to support the channel at Patreon. Details are in the description box below.